Hello everyone. So today um, the task was to create snapshots and make a recovery server like thing from that snapshots. So that's what was discussed today. So I'm not making a presentation regarding this since this is mostly practical. So I'll go ahead and do it all here in my AWS console. So here I am. This is my home page. Let me go to EC2 service. So what I'm essentially going to do is that I'm going to create a virtual server in Amazon with an additional disk volume 2 with an additional EBS volume, and I'm going to create a snapshot of that volume and I'm going to terminate that instance. Next, I'm going to create another instance and retrieve the data from that snapshot and by creating another volume and attaching to that instance. So in this way we can learn maybe how to recover data in case of data loss. So that's what we are going to do today. So I'm going to launch an instance. Let me say this is my server. Let that be my instance, and this and all I'll go very quickly since we have a lot to cover. I'll 2022 base T2 micro. I have already a key pair created. I have an existing security group. In this I have HTTP enabled, but it's not necessary. So yeah, and also we'll discuss briefly about encryption too. So I'll encrypt the root volume with this default KMS key and delete on termination yes, and we'll add a new volume too. We'll add a size of maybe 2 GB. I want it to be GB2, and yeah, and delete on termination yes, and I'm not encrypting it, right? So yeah, this should be it. We'll launch the instance. The launch has been initiated, and here's my server, and hopefully my volumes are also created and they are in use. They're currently in attaching state because the server is in pending state. So let it launch first. Instance state. Yeah, now it's running. So we could go and see in our volume. This should come as attached. Yeah, it's attached. Both the volumes are attached. So I go ahead and connect to my server, even though the status check is saying initializing. I'll go ahead and connect the server. Now this time I'm going to download a remote desktop file just to do it a bit differently. Yeah, I think it's because of the status check. It's not okay. It is. We'll wait for the password. Yeah, by that time we'll create the snapshot of this disk, which I'm going to retrieve it. So let's name this as disk, right? So I'm going to create a snapshot of this disk. First let me store some data there, then we'll take the snapshot. So yeah. Password, and it's connected. Yeah, so it's connecting. Status check is initializing, so it may take a while to connect. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to make it as a D drive and store some data into it, and I'm gonna purposefully terminate the instance and retrieve the data by creating the snapshot. That's what I'm going to do. So this imitates some kind of uh, disaster recovery. Suppose this is the disaster. The instance got terminated, and we are doing this. We have created a snapshot, and we are using it to retrieve the data. So first let me connect to the instance. What if the checks passed? It should come. Let's wait. Yeah. We'll let it load a bit. Since it's free tier, we have got to have patience. Yeah, I think it's loaded. Go to disk management. And we'll make this online. I think these all are done in the previous practical, but yeah, we'll make this a D drive. Yep, it's been given a D drive, so now I'll store data in it. Now I have some files over here which I would like to store. Let's store this. In the D drive. Yeah. So I have to somehow retrieve this data. So this is what we have stored. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to now create a snapshot while the server is running. I'm going to create a snapshot of disk which I have over here. Yeah, I'm just going to create a snapshot. Let me name my snapshot as snapshot. What better name is here? Showing pending. Right, so yeah, I guess this is created. It takes some time. I'm thinking that if I terminate the instance, maybe, yeah, now it's completed, 14 MB. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to terminate this instance. Let me terminate this. It's terminating. Hopefully this should shut down here. Now let me add that as well. Now while this is shutting down, let me launch an instance. Let me name it as recovery. Recovery. So is loading. Click to micro instance tab or key pair, existing security group, and I'm going to just launch this instance as it is, not with an additional volume also. So launch this instance, and what I have is that now if I refresh this, that disk is gone. So this is a new root volume, and that root volume with the previous disks both are gone. Now with the snapshot, I'm going to create that volume now. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to select this, and I'm going to create a volume from this snapshot. So let me read GP2, and I'm going to change the storage, and yeah, one important thing to note is that the availability zone, so it's also in 1D, so we'll create the volume also in 1D, so that we can attach it 1D. Yeah, and all is not required. Encrypting we'll see later. I mean, we could encrypt this and add a key as well, no problem, right? So create. Now hopefully my volume has to be created. Yes. Now let me connect to this instance. Let me connect to this instance. I'm downloading the file again. Because I don't want to waste my storage. Let this launch. It takes a lot of time to launch an instance, everything. Still the status check. So what I'll do, before launching itself, I'll attach it. I don't need to show, right? So I'll just attach it to recovery server. Just choose a device. It's attached. Yeah, it's attaching. So both are attached. This also came. Let's wait for it to load. So the way I'm seeing it's loading is that these icons and all didn't appear, like this pop-up and all. So I'm allowing it to load. Once you see all these icons, this text and all, you can assume it's fully loaded. So we have this, we'll make it online. It's it's already initialized. Since we have initialized there, then hopefully when we check, we should have the data. Yep, we have the data. So that's it. This is how you can do. Now of course I'm gonna terminate this as well. Need to clean up. So you see how we have recovered from that. So one important thing to note is that, as mentioned previously also, is that the EBS volume can one with the availability zone in which the EBS volume has been created and the instance has been created, both has to be same. Whether you are creating it from a snapshot or creating it on your own defaultly, one important thing to note is that it should be same. We should create. I could have demonstrated by creating another availability zone, but yeah, it's okay. Both will behave similarly. Yeah, it's terminated. We'll go ahead and delete this to delete and to delete the snapshot because you don't want to be being extra. Everything is deleted, volumes are deleted, instances are terminated. Go to my dashboard, everything is deleted. I have nothing. So that's it. It's pretty simple. Yeah, that's it. Thank you very much.